Summer has turned to fall, the days become shorter and the nights longer. Leaves drop from the trees like dead bodies as Halloween approaches. It's the perfect time to kick back with a creepy book, watch a horror movie, or play a scary video game.
Get them out!
I want to showcase some video games that were inspired by horror films in this video. Only original games though, so I won't feature licensed games based on actual IPs, nor will I include games that just have horror film Easter eggs.
Here's Johnny.
If you see a game or movie listed that you don't want spoiled, stop watching. Besides that, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Clock Tower is the perhaps clearest example of a video game that was inspired by a horror film. The game's director, Hifumi Kono, is a self-proclaimed mega fan of director Dario Argento and wanted Clock Tower to be a love letter to the works of the Italian master of horror, especially the 1985 film Phenomena. Phenomena takes place in Switzerland. Clock Tower takes place in Norway. If you can't set your game in Switzerland because it would make things a little too obvious, you go with Norway, which is equally notable for its remote mountainous landscapes. In Phenomena, a deranged boy murders young women in the Swiss countryside, his first victim with a pair of scissors. In Clock Tower, a group of young women are held captive inside a mansion where they are terrorized by Bobby Barrows, a boy with a huge pair of scissors. Well, gardening shears, but you know. The protagonist of Phenomena is a young exchange student named Jennifer Corvino. The protagonist of Clock Tower is a young orphan named Jennifer Simpson, who bears a striking resemblance to Jennifer Connelly, who portrayed Jennifer Corvino. That's a lot of Jennifer. Anyway, in both Phenomena and Clock Tower, the protagonist is chaperoned by a lady who at first appears to be trustworthy, but turns out to be affiliated with the killer. In the former, it's Frau Brückner, the protective mother of the killer, and in the latter, it's Miss Jane, the matriarch it turns out of the demented family that lives in the mansion. In Phenomena, the killer's deformed face is revealed when Jennifer finds him in a cell under Frau Brückner's house. In Clock Tower, the deformed twin brother of the killer is revealed when Jennifer finds him in a dungeon beneath the Barrows mansion. Jennifer Corvino gets help from a swarm of bugs to defeat the killer, while Jenny from the clock gets help from a flock of crows to defeat Miss Jane. Well, it depends on what ending you unlock, because they are not all happy. There are many other similarities between Clock Tower and Phenomena, but also with other Dario Argento films. The doll that comes alive in the playroom, for example, feels very similar to a scene from Deep Red, and the iconic stained window death scene from Suspiria is pretty much recreated in the game. I would argue, however, that it's Clock Tower's goblin-esque score that serves as the ultimate tribute to the films of Mr. Argento. The Tomb Raider games have often dabbled in horror. The name of the game is Tomb Raider after all, and a tomb is where you put someone who's dead. They are still not horror games though, yet the chilling finale of Tomb Raider 3 is so scary that it rivals, and in my opinion surpasses, actual horror games of the time. Set in the frozen desert of Antarctica, it's no wonder why it's scary. Antarctica is vast and desolate, and it's the setting of the 1982 film The Thing. A central theme in both The Thing and Tomb Raider 3's Antarctica chapter is paranoia. In the John Carpenter classic, the Fellowship of the Researchers slowly disintegrates when horrific mutations begin wreaking havoc on their base. In Tomb Raider 3, Lara is constantly ambushed by distressed RX Tech employees for no apparent reason, since she's employed by the company too. It becomes apparent, however, that something has gone terribly wrong here while Lara traveled the world for the company. Just like in The Thing, there is something that causes horrible mutations in humans, and in dogs, but thankfully they are spared in Tomb Raider. When Lara confronts her boss, Dr. Willard, about the mutant she encountered in the canteen, he shows his true colors. As Lara chases after him into the dark mines below, she witnesses RX Tech employees desperately fighting back against the ever-growing mutant population with flamethrowers, similarly to how Kurt Russell and company fight back against The Thing. But it's out of control, the mutants are everywhere, and the deeper Lara goes, the bigger and more grotesque they are. The cause of all these mutations is a hundreds of millions years old meteorite buried deep beneath the surface. Hilariously, Lara herself references a horror film when she confronts Dr. Willard.
At home, I've just met a man who may as well have been Brundlefly. Fascinating, isn't it?
Which is very ironic since Dr. Willard's arc mirrors that of Seth Brundle from the 1986 film The Fly. Both men's hunger for scientific achievements lead to personal tragedy when they turn into horrible deformed creatures. Seth Brundle accidentally turns himself into a
Brundlefly,
while Dr. Willard becomes, this thing. The turn of the millennium was a moment in time that was equal parts exciting and terrifying. Because who knew for sure what would happen the moment 1999 ended and the year 2000 began? This worldwide anxiety was largely spearheaded by the so-called Y2K bug problem. As a result, a lot of media that came out around that time was more obsessed with apocalyptic themes than usual, including Tomb Raider as a matter of fact. I will instead turn my attention to Shadow Man, an endlessly fascinating video game that released just a few months before year 2000. Shadow Man is a madly complex video game with a plot so intricate that I can't possibly do it justice in a video not dedicated exclusively to it. Basically, the game follows Mike Leroy, a so-called Shadow Man who possesses the power to travel between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Life side and dead side. He needs to use this power to stop a group of serial killers known as the Five from crossing over from dead side to life side by collecting all so-called Dark Souls before they do.
So let me get this straight. If I don't recover these Dark Souls, then the world's gonna end. Am I right?
You got it.
Shit.
The mastermind behind this hostile takeover is Legion.
Who are you? And he asked him, "What is thy name?" And he replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many."
"What is your name?" And he answered, "Legion, for we are many."
Now, this is of course first and foremost a biblical quote and doesn't in itself have anything to do with The Exorcist 3.
It is not in the file. It is not.
Amen to that.
The reason why I draw a comparison between the two is that they both tell stories about terrifying criminals who have gained unholy powers. This combination of biblical demons and modern serial killers is so unique that I cannot imagine The Exorcist 3 not having been an inspiration when acclaimed studios conceptualized Shadow Man. But if that's not the case, then I'll just tie Clock Tower to The Exorcist 3 instead, since the killer uses shears in that film too. But anyway, Shadow Man does have a confirmed film connection to the 1995 film Seven. Specifically, the game designers were inspired by the grisly murder scenes of that movie when they designed the godforsaken apartment block that serves as the stage of the perhaps scariest member of the Five, Avery Marks.
Here's Johnny!
What the?
I bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will.
Don't mess with me, little man.
Little big man. Little big man.
Before Avery got this frightening makeover, his concept art apparently was so similar to John Doe from Seven that the designers felt they needed to completely change him. The movie connections don't end with Seven though. This so-called, home improvement killer crafts rugs, chair seats, birdhouses, you name it, from the skin of his deceased victims, just like Leatherface did in the 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also uses night vision goggles to stalk his victims in the dark, similarly to Buffalo Bill in the 1991 film, The Silence of the Lambs. Curiously, both Buffalo Bill and Leatherface were inspired by real-life sicko Ed Gein, who also inspired terrifying mama's boy Norman Bates in the 1960 film Psycho. And what do you know, Avery's got mommy issues too.
My mama loves me. She never loved you. My mama kisses me. My mama would never, ever kiss you. No, not never, ever kiss you. Come to mama now, baby. Sweet baby, come to mama. For we are many.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of The Silence of the Lambs.
Good afternoon. May I help you? What I meant to say was, is there something I can do for you?
I hope you enjoyed this video and that I have inspired some of your scary gaming or movie watching. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Take care.